And there we are, live streaming. Zulma Gonzalez, this mic is all yours.
Oh, thankful Thursday, family. Oh, Lovable is in charge. He's outside. Anyway, it's a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a wonderful day. I am going to work today. My client was in the hospital and he's coming home today, and the other person who would have been working today is on vacation. So I've been asked to come in, which is the reason why I'm only going to be here for an hour this morning. Um, all is well, though. All is well. Things are going great. I think I told you I'm pretty sure I know what was uh provoking the episodes that my doggy was having as far as the seizures go, and I think I've got a handle on that. Um, Nevertheless, ah, so we're here to talk about A Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind and other metaphysical teachings. Um, but today, well, I want to say but. Um, there's no but. There's no but. Hi, Cher. I see you. I see you. I see you. Um, Let me say good morning to Sharon, and Dove, and Karen, and Lynn, and Mickey, and Lindy, and Glorian, and Bob. Hello, 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 hello. Katia, I know you're listening out there somewhere, and whoever else may be listening. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, would you be so kind as to like and share, or at least like, so that we know that there are people that are actually coming? We would appreciate that. Comment if you like. That would be great. We'd appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, and I don't mean just me. I mean anybody on YouTube that belongs to Gather, by all means, just make it known that you were there in some way or another. If even if you just like, um, or comment, whatever. Anyhow, anyhow. Um, so I had planned on talking about, see, I love how the Holy Spirit's in charge and I'm not. Um, there was initial plan on forgiveness and a whole bunch of sweet things. Um, However, um, I, Bob, this is you. I shared uh, a essay that an essay that Bob wrote on the body on the one. Well, it was an essay using the clip from my cousin Vinny, which now I want to watch the whole movie, and I found out that it's free on YouTube. Um, Great, 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 and how Miss Vito uh was asked a question that really didn't have a real answer. It was, and I love how, Bob called it a bull crap question. We're gonna take I'm putting the word crap in, you put that other word in, Um, it was a bull crap question. Um, and and then he he addressed how it applies to the body, that the whole thing about the body is a bull crap question. And someone called me yesterday. I wasn't able to get the phone call, and was texting me this morning, and then finally called me and wanted to talk about that. And while I absolutely agree that anything that we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch is temporary. This is Zulma talking now. It's temporary. Um, Zulma believes that in the moment, it's real. In the moment, just in the moment. Um, I know new cells are growing every minute. Everything is constantly changing. Everything is constantly changing. Energy, it's always changing, always changing. Um, but I chose this body. I chose this body to live out whatever it is that I'm living out. I could not. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but it became an interesting conversation because the gentleman that called me, the gentleman he was adamant, he talked about and he may have been, I don't know who else may have read it, but he did, and he called me, and he had a slightly different view, and which I understand as well. um, because it really depends on how we are seeing things, how we view it. But before we do all that viewing and seeing and stuff, let me pull up a slide or two. I don't have my second screen in front of me, so I'm going to share this screen and not be able to see you all while I'm doing it. Let's see here. Um, just a reminder that we are looking at A Course in Miracles and It Meets Science of Mind and Other Metaphysical Teachings. In fact, Ernest Holmes said, Ernest Holmes wrote that, the body is just real enough, but understanding the temporariness of it. Um, okay, my doggy wants to come in. I need a moment. 1 second, just 1 second.
She's bringing in her doggy. I'm really appreciating this talk, and I love those essays that Bob has been sending out. And I'm going to try to figure out a way. Of course, he has them on his website, so we'd love to share them with other people in our group as well. So um, it's all just, yeah, the body. I wrote this in the chat. I am
Oh, sorry.
this body is this instant old. That's it. It wasn't yesterday. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's only this instant old. This is it. And this now is the only time. So there's Zelma back. So back to you, Zelma.
Thank you. Um, Lovable has been very insistent on some things lately. He likes to sit outside, just sit there. So I take his cooling pad and I take it out, and he just lays there and he watches the people. Nosy, he sits there and watches everything and everybody and keeps me informed of what's going on. Barks now and then, and growls at people who aren't emitting the same energy that he is. We'll just put it that way. It's very, 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 very rare that he growls at anything. But anyway, um, yeah. So real enough. Um, in the moment, right now, I just heard Lynn talking in this earth plane. I heard Lynn talking. On this earth plane, I see a screen. On this earth plane, I just greeted a group of people. On this earth plane, we call it Thursday, Thankful Thursday. Um, so I'm just using that. It's key. I'm trying to be very, very specific in the words that I'm using. Um, all right, slideshow from current slide. Um, I'm being very, very specific because I really would like participation in this conversation. I really do. I want it to be a conversation today because this phone call came at 8 something this morning when I was preparing to do something altogether different. But it made sense, and I can't ignore it. And it has to do with this thing that we say what's real and what's not. And anyway, before that, we should daily train our thoughts to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. We recognizing first of all that spirit is everything. It's God is everything, everything. There is no God and which, though coming to pass, though temporary, could very well include the body. I'm coming to that. There's no other way, Ernest Holmes says, to try another way would be to make a complete failure, and that is to try to deny spirit in anything, to try to deny God, to try to deny truth is a complete failure. Of course, this is A Course in Mind Training. A Course in Miracles teaches that all learning involves attention and study at some level. So it's more than just that surface thing. It's more than just grabbing a sentence, which I see it done in churches. I see it done here. I see it done everywhere. Everywhere, somebody will grab a a a passage or two and make a whole story out of it, and then there are those who value the people who are telling the story and make that story their truth and try to present it to others as the truth. Uh, and in truth, there's only one truth, and it's the truth the same for everyone. And if it's not the same, then hmm, if what I'm calling the truth is different from what you're calling the truth, then we need to realize that neither of us is actually telling the truth. And being willing to accept that. Okay, so this, it may be, my quote quote problem, my hang up might be is disorganization when it comes to stuff or having too much stuff. For someone else, it might be judgment. For someone else, it could be a physical thing, whatever. Um, and we're calling that our truth. But if every one of us doesn't have an issue with disorganization, or every one of us doesn't have that issue with regular judgment, and every one of us doesn't have that same physical thing, then it's not the truth. It's just not. So an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. And I'm just throwing stuff out here as I go, and I'm hoping for hands because I really want feedback on this today. Um, Dr. Ernest Holmes reminds us that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. And the whole idea of thought, we're taught in the course that um, it's based on perception. And we're asked to, perceive, to go into right thinking as opposed to wrong thinking, but it's still thinking, and it's still based on perception, and it's still based on how we're seeing things. And we're saying that that's not real. Um, God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. That's an important lesson for me. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Now, when the course is talking about seeing, is it okay? So when I look at your form and I say the God in me recognizes the God in you, um, there is no in and out if in level one, in level one. And for those that don't level the level one is the level of spirit, the level of truth, the level of reality. And level two is anything that is temporary, anything that can be threatened, anything that's unreal, anything that doesn't exist, anything that doesn't have permanence. That's level two. Um, and of course talks about the level confusion, and the course itself is written in levels because it has to speak to us in a language that we understand, and we come from an ego perspective. you know um I just heard somebody say, yes, I pray about things. Yeah, don't, I do too. If I'm having physical pain, oh God, please make this pain stop. And in the moment that I'm even saying that, in this moment I just said that, it's like God outside of me. In the moment, in that split second, I forgot that it's not something outside of me, that it's not even something out there that's causing the pain, that the pain is here, or that what is this physical pain is part of my experience in this physical life. It was part of my dog's experience because the pain in my knee is coming from the fact that his teeth and my knee made contact with each other. Now, am I to say that that's not real? Am I to say when I first talked about that he was having these experiences? Was there not a sense of compassion and empathy and all that came from you all with me about him? Because Lovable, who's over there in the corner, is part of all of our lives, and this is all tangible stuff. Are you going to tell me that what I was witnessing, that what the veterinarians are talking about, and the blood test, are you going to tell me that the $750 that I spent the first time I went to see a therapist, that that's not real? No, it's temporary. I grant you that. Temporary. Fortunately, I only had to spend that amount of money one time. I only have to pay it off over a period of time. But I only had to spend it the one time. It's temporary. I get that. But in that moment when he was when all that was happening, it was real for me to in the moment, real enough, as Ernest Holmes said, in the moment. But then it's gone. Now, for me to decide to dwell on it, for me to decide to make up stories about what's going to happen today at 10 o'clock, or that is where the illusion comes in. It's the thoughts that me trying to make up stories about the situation. That's the illusion. At least this is Zulma talking. This is how I see it. That's the illusion. It's not that it didn't occur. It occurred. It occurred, and with paperwork and videos to shit. All you gotta do is ask to see the video. Oh yeah, and because you all know Lovable, you're gonna feel to some extent the way I felt when I saw it. But me watching the video over and over again. That's what's that's what's not real. That's the illusion. The situation came and it went. But for me to decide, I'm going to like rewind and rewind and rewind, and this is what we do. We rewind. Say that 5 times fast. We we rewind and rewind and rewind. We play this thing over and over and over and over again, and it's this rewind, this attempt to recreate, which is only a making, because it's only an attempt to make that thing make the past the present. That is the illusion. That is not real. I see your hand, Karen. Go ahead. Let me turn this
Thank you, my Zulma.
on.
Oh, good to see you. Yeah, what just came to me as you were sharing this was in the little hindrance in paragraph 13, where he says, each day and every minute in each day and every instant that each minute holds, you but relive the single instant where the time of terror took the place of love.
Mhm.
So what I'm learning in the course, and it's hard to put into words, but I love what you shared, and I agree with you, and that's what it seems like. And what the course is teaching us, that everything here is an illusion and that it's already over. So this is just a dream. It's all a dream. Whatever's happening is happening in each day, every minute, each day, and every instant that each minute holds. We're reliving that single instant, that we're reliving it in each moment. So the only thing for me that is helpful is which teacher am I listening to? And it's everything is a decision. So he tells us that we are deprived of nothing except our own decision. So what in this moment that's already over, what am I choosing to believe? What am I choosing to, which am I choosing to believe in the Holy Spirit's thought system? Am I putting faith in that? Or am I choosing to put faith in the ego thought system? So it really is in every moment. That's all that matters for me in every moment is which thought system am I putting my faith in? Because it's already over, all of it, and that's hard to comprehend. It's hard for a brain in a physical form to comprehend, but that's what the course is teaching us, right? So it's all over. Everything here is an illusion. There's nothing, whether it's happening in this moment or not. For what the course I'm learning is that it's all illusion. It's all a dream, but we decide in each moment. And if we want to go above the battleground, outside of time, there's the miracle. We forgive. We forgive it. And I love the lesson that you brought up. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And Yeah, we can talk about that one as we go along if you want to keep bringing it up. But I love that lesson, and I see Lynn has her hand up.
Thank you, Karen. Before you go on, Lynn, um, as you're talking about everything being over, what you said is already gone. What you said, it's over. What I just said is gone, but it was here for that moment, and now it's gone. See, for me to say it's already over, it's because the second I finish saying that word, it's gone. That thought, it's gone. In that moment, it's gone. It all comes to pass, comes to pass, comes to pass. But it's here for the moment that it's occurring. Think that we think it's that this is happening, but then it's gone. It's my idea that it's still going on. That's the problem. My idea that it's still happening. Um, okay, go ahead, Lynn. Thank you, Karen.
All right, thank you guys so much. Yeah, and Karen, that the quote that you said so perfectly beautiful. He also says, you might ask why, how the tiny mad idea could have happened. Well, just ask. You're doing it right now. The same thing. Every time I make a choice, it is the tiny mad idea presenting itself to me right then, right there. So, if I make a choice to, get upset about something, if I make a choice to be afraid about something, if I make a choice to get to love something, whatever it is, right at that moment, I'm making a choice of um, like you were saying, Karen, what teacher am I listening to? What world do I want to see? What world do I want to see? And in the past, of course, I keep choosing over and over. Oh, I want to see this person get their comeuppance. Oh, I want to see this person, grow up and get married. I want to see, I'm making a choice about a future every single time. That's the reason that I stay here in this place, in this kind of standstill. Uh, that's because I keep choosing the wrong teacher and the wrong world. The world I want to see is the world where there is no conflict. I want to see a world where there is no pain. I want to see a world where there is no suffering. I want to see a world where there is only joy and peace. And that is a direct effect of that choice that I make. So if I, see somebody on the TV that I just, really want to just, see dead. Literally, that's what the course says. If it's not love, it's murder. You see somebody and you want something to happen to them that is anything but perfect love and joy, you want them dead. That is the wrong choice every single time. And yet we make it over and over and over and over, not because I want to see a world where all my enemies are dead. It's because I can't think of a world in which I have no enemy. I can't think of a world in which I have no enemy because I'm so attached to this mode of being an I that is constantly on the defense. So, this is, it is, yes, it's which world do I want to see? Do I want to see the world of fear or do I want to see the world of love? And that's the only choice I ever have at any moment. The Holy Spirit, my teacher, will show me the world where there's nothing but love, if I will let him. And that's the big if. Go ahead. Back to you, Zoma.
Thank you for that, Lynn. Thank you. Um, the the point that I um that I think I'm making, or may not be very clear as I'm hearing, that I may not be clear on, is that in this moment, okay, I just heard what Lynn said. I just heard what Karen said. I just read a piece of what Robert sent. Be normal. It says, living. What is it? Let me quote that. Living. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Um. Uh. Living in it's something. Something about living in truth while in the illusion, or something like that. Let me quote it. I want to be verbatim. I'm sorry. He wrote, living in the illusion while holding the truth. Living in the illusion while holding the truth. I get that everything I just heard, everything I just read, everything, it comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. It's here and then it's gone. The fact that I'm trying to keep making it be now, if I were to read what Bob wrote and say, oh yeah, he just wrote that, and then turn around and read it again and say he just wrote that, and then read it again and say he just wrote that, that would be me trying to recreate. He wrote it, it's done, it's available for me to read. Now, however many times I read it is one thing, but he wrote it and it's done, period. It comes to pass. It comes to pass 727 times in the Bible. It says it came to pass. So, but it came. Like, I can't, because just as the Course teaches that the Holy Spirit uses the body as a means of communication. That's quote the Course. The Holy Spirit uses the body as a means of communication. So the Holy Spirit, okay, early in the Course, it talks about denying the body would be a serious form of denial. That's like major denial. To say that I can say that the body isn't real, meaning specifically that the body is not a permanent thing. Not real to Zulma means it's not permanent. Doesn't mean it's not here. It doesn't mean, if we want to talk about the experience, Gloria talks about the NDE experience, the near-death experience that she had. Am I going to deny? Is she going to deny that experience didn't occur? Is it still occurring? No. If she was constantly talking about, yeah, and right now I'm having a near-death experience. Yeah. And right now I'm having, if that's not what we're talking about. The experience occurred. It came to pass. It came to pass. She grabbed a lesson from it. She shares the lesson beautifully with us all. But who am I to say, oh no, Gloria, that wasn't real. That wasn't real. It was a moment in time, in her experience, in her life experience, to teach her the same way the Holy Spirit is using the body as a means of communication. So I can't deny the body. I'm being real. I'm trying to be clear here. I'm not trying to say that, because I know it's temporary. Nothing survives its purpose. The body is something that's not going to survive its purpose. I get that. But even when the body ceases to be, where do those ashes go? Where does all that go? If it's all God, it's not going anywhere. It's still, even if we're just inhaling it, I don't know. It's where's it going? It's all God. If you believe that. Now, if you don't believe that it's all God, and all means all. Lindy, you had your hand up. Where'd you go?
Yes,
All right.
can you hear me? Can you hear me,
Yeah, I hear you.
sweetheart?
Yes, go
Oh,
ahead.
it's so good to see you. You look so cool in
Likewise.
that dress.
Thank you. I
But
appreciate
you
that.
ain't
Thank
got
you.
on nobody. That's your
It's temporary though. I'm
humility.
gonna take it off as soon as no, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, listen to this. As I'm listening to the conversation, what came to my remembrance? I kept thinking about this ancestry.com. Girl, let me tell you. Uh, I don't know. I was thinking at one time, maybe I need to. Okay, let me back up. I was on my birth certificate, I can't see my father's name. So I started having these thoughts that maybe this ain't my family. Maybe I was kidnapped, all kinds of little nonsense, right? And so I said, well, maybe I should do that ancestry.com. Okay, but then when I said those thoughts to myself, another thought came, and I believe this was the thought of God, because this is how it came to me. I erased all that trauma, all that hellacious stuff that you getting ready to try to drug up. that I told it, this too shall pass. Because when you said that, that's what triggered that ancestry.com thought. I said, And then I said to myself, I don't need to be digging back up in there. And what if you dig up something you don't want to see here? And then it puts you through the trauma again. So I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you, Zuma.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And before I give you the mic, Glorian, I'm going to read what you wrote in the chat. Glorian wrote, when I say I want or desire anything, lack, scarcity, what I am always saying is I want God, no matter what, because God is all there is. She goes on to say, nothing external is our salvation. Salvation comes from capital M, my, capital O, one, capital S, self, my one self, united with my creator. And everything is capital there. With my salvation comes from my one, 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 one self. It's all one. And I'll even go so far as to say that if I can put my arm next to your arm and give it a couple seconds for the everything to adjust, you won't be able to tell where my arm stops and yours begins. And I'm talking about the body now. You won't be able to tell where mine stops and yours begins. You can't feel a difference. You can't feel the separation. When someone with A positive needs blood and I give it to them, you can't tell when you take my blood and put it in their body that it came from me. They're not going to suddenly, have this beautiful hair, or their skin isn't going to, look like that. It's not going to happen. They're not going to have this. When I say, I'm talking about one across the board. One across the board. And for me, it applies even to this, because the same source that made it possible, because all things are possible in God, that made it possible for this body to be a zygote, then an embryo, then a fetus, and all that, is the same source that made it possible for you. I'm complete. Go ahead, Gloria.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to read what I put down below that. When living in presence, we see it through true perception. It is seemingly real because we are aligned with that tiny mad idea. So if we go back and recognize that there's one ego manifesting in many different ways, and there's one Christ mind that we wish to return to. So when referencing the near-death experience, which I call near-life experience, we recognize that for me to be able to speak about that, I'm on the level of the mental. So that's the level of perception. And we want to move from false perception to true perception, which we can only do by practicing the presence and being mindfully aware of that presence and allowing that to direct and guide our lives through. I step back and let him lead the way. I gain second place to gain the first. But if we're recognizing that the mental is not the Christ consciousness, which is spirit, because if we're in that space of spirit, Christ consciousness, I am, omnipresence, whatever word we'd like to use for it, there is no thought. So if there is no thought, there is no projection. If there's no thought, no projection, there's no perception. So that's why Jesus is telling us that projection makes perception. We could only have it in that tiny mad idea, which is a mirror, not a fact. So we're seeing what we think so that we can let go of it. And that's always what's happening. So yeah, seemingly this stuff seems real. It seems like we're in bodies, which of course we are not. And that's what he's talking about with above the battleground and, being the observer and the witness, which Joel would speak of as the beholder. So once and you always say no, and that's so important to recognize there's nothing other than that spirit. So nothing real can be threatened, but nothing unreal exists. So every day as we're walking through the temptations that constantly come, and why do the temptations come? Because we're thinking. We're in perception. We're in the mental. That's why we will be tempted as long as we seemingly think we're a body. So the idea is to move to that place above the battleground. And of course, we receive the experience of that Spirit of God in the holy instant, in that quiet mind, where that miracle, we trade in fear for love, which comes from out of time. And it's beyond words. It's beyond what we think. It's an experience. We cannot describe oneness, beingness, isness. It just can't be described. So the idea is to recognize, okay, while I'm seemingly here, the body is experiencing pain, but the body is not what I am. So, that's really the practice. I'm going to see if I can find this excerpt from Joel where he goes through a short meditation, which is so helpful in, recognizing that you are not in this body. That's what we really, that's what I'll speak for myself, have to remember, that if you're going to take off my arm, you're not going to find me. If you're going to cut off something or do surgery, you're never going to find I am, because I am does not exist there. But while we seemingly entertain the mad idea, we're projecting these images, which are an aspect of imagination, which will disintegrate. That's why everything here changes, because it's imagination. So our goal is to be mindfully aware of the presence of God with us where I stand. Where I stand is the temple of God. And like in Perry's book, he says, you are quite lovely, a shaft of pure light. That's what we want to come to recognize our true self as. And one, the God is the substance of all form. So for me, yeah, we're going to seemingly see fear. We're going to seemingly wander into temptation. I don't care who it is. I don't care how many years we've been doing this. As long as we entertain thought, we're in duality. And we have that opportunity, once we recognize it for what it is, to make a different choice about what I am. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the only thing to deny is the denial of truth. The only thing to deny is the denial of truth. Everything else, it comes to pass. It doesn't come to stay. It is unreal, and therefore it cannot exist. So for me to think whatever thought I'm thinking right now, and to choose to keep thinking, like Gloria just said something, and to keep thinking, and she's still saying it, and she's still saying it, and she's still saying it, and she's still saying it. That's the illusion. It came in the moment, it left in the moment. I get the lesson from it. Thank you. I get the lesson from it and keep going, because everything just keeps on going. It doesn't stop. It's like a movie, like a movie. The movie is, it's going from point A to, from start to finish, and we're watching this movie, and a certain scene catches our attention, and we get so stuck in that scene, we think that scene is the only thing that is. We think that that's what's real, and that's the illusion. We think it's that's real, but meanwhile, everything just keeps on going. It's still going, and because of that, there's the story about Lot's wife, that because it's written that if you try to save your life, you will lose it, because you're so busy trying to hold on to something that's already gone, that you're not appreciating. What did Gloria say? Practicing the presence. The presence is in the present. It's only now. Now. Go ahead, Karen.
Thanks, Gloria, and thanks. I think we're all saying the same thing in different ways. We all know that the truth of what we are, and that there is only now. And what you're saying, Zulma, reminds me of what Ken says, that memory is a present decision projected into a non-existent past. Okay. So that the past is gone, it's over, it can touch me not. So if I'm going to keep reliving that in my head, which I did for years after my husband's suicide, that is the illusion. You're exactly right. It's only in the holy instant, as Glorian said, outside of time. That is the only truth. That is where the love is. That is where there is the whole purpose of the holy instant, is to suspend judgment entirely. And that is only what is real, is the eternal right now. And I just wanted to point out what you said, which I think was very important. Zulma, about the body, because I agree with you 100%. He tells us in chapter 2, section 4, that those who deny the body, it's a particularly unworthy form of denial. The term unworthy here implies only that it is not necessary to protect the mind by denying the unmindful. If one denies this unfortunate aspect of the mind's power, one is also denying the power itself. So the unmindful is the body. So if we're denying the body, we are denying our power. The power that we have is our power of decision that comes from the experiences. We have experiences here. Like you said, this is our classroom. We have decisions to make while we're here. We have the power to create or miscreate. We have the power to, as we said earlier, it's either we're going to listen to the Holy Spirit or we're going to listen to the ego. So the body is a teaching device. It's what we have. It's useful. There's nobody's denying the body. I don't think anyone here said that. So I just wanted to point out how important the body is and how this is our classroom, and our special relationships are where we learn our greatest lessons. So I'm just joining you. I think we're all saying the same thing. I don't think anybody's, in disagreement with what you're saying. It's all perfect. Thank you.
I don't know if you read Bob's essay, which I thought was great. It talks about the body being an illusion, and the person that called me was calling me based on it, the way that individual understood it. It sounded to him that the body itself was being denied, as it was being denied. And that's what made me bring it up. The body is our communication device. That's what we're taught. The body, just like this book is a teaching device. But what does it say in the book? Forget this book. Forget it. Forget this course. And realize that everything that we see, everything, YouTube, Zoom, Gather, people by names, bodies, anything that we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, it's all temporary. It's all temporary. But in the moment, it's real. In this moment, it's real. This conversation for me is real. This is a communication. This is our communication device. This thing right here. And you hear that? Tell me you can't hear that, right? You see this, even in the top, the temporary top, whatever. But anyway, Gloria, go ahead.
Yeah, this is just a great conversation. And, when we recognize that the body is a serviceable instrument like our car, separate from the truth of what we are, but that does not mean that we're not going to seemingly experience this stuff. And I wholeheartedly agree with that, what Karen was saying about denying. We don't deny anything. Everything here is our opportunity to be free of it. If we look at everything as a gift, recognizing that if we're denying the body, we're in perception, we're in duality, good, bad, right, wrong, sick, well. That's exactly, we cannot escape from that unless we do what Jesus tells us, I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. We only do that in the quiet mind. So that's why when we're praying, forgive us our illusions, Father, and help us to accept our true relationship with you. That's it. That's the only thing we need to do. Recognize this is what it is. Use it. See what it's showing us. Jesus tells us, look, wait, judge not. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at it lovingly, gently, without batting ourselves over the head. Look, wait, make the space, make the pause. If we don't even go into complete silence, we're asking, Holy Spirit, what should I do? Getting out of the way and allowing the higher mind to come through and lead and guide us. That's our only way out, because the ego does not know. I do not know what anything is for. And, when we recognize that the body itself is a totally neutral thing, so I'm giving it all the meaning that it has for me. And if I, without me giving it this meaning, I'm directing my hands. Of itself, it's just a symbol that we use, an instrument that we use to return our mind to the Christ. So once we see it as something separate and apart from what I truly am, it doesn't define us anymore. That's why with everything I had been through with the near death and the surgeries, whatever have you, none of it defines the truth of what I am. And what this is a gift. Anyone else would look at you going for a medical procedure and they almost kill you, but to me, I recognize that this seemingly happened so that right now, in this incarnation, I can make a deeper choice about that. Because for all these years, I've done this. I'm not a body, I'm free, I'm as God created me. I'm like, yeah, I get that. I'm spirit. And only until this seeming tragedy occurred was I able to go deeper into the experience of what that means. We don't want to think about what that means. We want to allow it to be reinterpreted for us. Allow the impartation from the Christ to come through. And we can only do that in receptivity because the ego is going to block it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. In the Course in Chapter 8, it says, regard the body solely as a means of joining minds and uniting them. It doesn't say disregard the body. It doesn't say, okay, when before I was involved with any group, any ACIM group, and I'm kind of glad it happened this way. I started studying the course in 1992. It wasn't until 2005, 6, 7, somewhere in there that I actually found group. But things like real, words like real, words like that when existing, and words like that, I had to understand what that meant. What to say that something is not real does not mean that I don't see it there. We can talk about, everything, we've brought up things. We brought up things, me and my knee, and Karen talked about the situation with the husband's suicide, and Gloria talking about the near death experience, and we all have a story. We all have one. We all have stories. We all do. We all do. And they are part of our experience, but it doesn't define. No, I learned from it. I take the lesson and what is it? They said a 12-step program. Take what you need and leave the rest. But it's part of my experience. And these stories, if told from the Holy Spirit's perspective, because we can go into the poor me of it. We can do that. But if told from the perspective that's edifying, that's uplifting, someone else may hear it and say, "Oh, because of that, it gave me what we are here for each other. The oneness of it. We are one, called by different names, expressing in different ways, but we are here for each other. Salvation is a collaborative venture." Oh my God. Go ahead, Karen. Go ahead.
I'm loving this conversation. Thank you, Glorian. Thank you, Zulma. And so what came to my mind when you were both sharing, when you said that the body doesn't define me. And that is so important to remember, because every time I identify with this body, I suffer. Every single time I identify with what this body is experiencing, I suffer. That is the key to, that's why forgiveness is the key to happiness, because I can forgive and this will disappear. My interpretation will disappear, and I ask the Holy Spirit to help me see this differently. The other thing that you shared, Zulma, which really hit me too, was about real, when we say it's real. So what I'm learning from my experience in the course is when I identify with my body and I make this thing real, and this is the cause of my upset, that is the problem.
Yes.
That's making it real. That's the thing, because it's not the cause. The cause is a decision. Everything comes from a decision in the mind. So making it real is allowing it to destroy the peace. That is the truth of what we are. When I allow something to affect my peace of mind, I'm saying you are the problem. You are causing my upset. That's why I'm upset. So this is what I'm learning. I'm learning, and the course tells us that there's a really good. It's in This Need Not Be. He says, basically talking about depression, that you are deprived of nothing except by your own decisions, and then decide otherwise. So I love the power of decision, that we have the power to change our mind in any moment, and that's where the healing occurs. So what makes it real? By allowing it to have an effect on me. That's what I'm learning. So thank you so much, Zulma, for bringing that up.
Yes, and with that from workbook lesson 23, it says every thought you have makes up some segment of the world you see. It is with your thoughts then that we must work if your perception of the world is to be changed. Going down, paragraph 2. There is no point. Oh no! Learn that it is these thoughts which you do not want. There is no point in lamenting the world. That's anything. There is no point in trying to change the world. It is incapable of change because it is merely an effect. That is, anything that I think is anything outside of me that I'm trying to blame. It is merely an effect. But there is indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world, which coincides with what it talks about in chapter 21 about projection making perception. Here, you are changing the cause. The effect will change automatically. And that's what you were saying, Karen. Go ahead, Gloria.
Yeah, beautiful sharing, sisters. And I like that what you said there, Karen, because that's the most important thing to me when I first came to the course, is recognizing that the power of decision is my own. I'm not a victim of the world I see. That is just so empowering. And if we really look at that, Jesus tells us that's our last remaining freedom in this world. But what does that offer us? If we can change our mind and we could choose to see it differently and we can choose to take no thought, then we have the peace of God. So,
Yes.
when we really get to that place of recognition that I'm not a body, I'm free, I'm as God created me, not by intellect, but by allowing that experience of I am to permeate our being. And we don't have to sit in quiet meditation, but we do have to be aware of the presence of God with us at all times. But that's our peace. And the only way we get peace is through the freedom of recognizing that I have power over my thoughts. I also like what someone said, I think it was Dove one time. He said that if you desire anything here in this world, you will suffer. And if we go to, I think it's seek not outside yourself. He tells us that nothing has the power over us to make us suffer. It's just the belief that we hold about it that can make us suffer. So when we recognize we can change our belief by surrendering it, recognizing it for what it is, a manifestation of the one ego, that tiny mad idea, keeping me from the experience of the reality of what I am, we're empowered. We can do it. And it takes practice. And I'm not minimizing that in any way, but we go deeper and deeper and we practice, practice, practice. And that's why we're vigilant here for God and the kingdom. Every single day we get up and we start with spirit on our mind. And we end our day that way too. So we're vigilant. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Seek not outside yourself, for it will fail, and you will weep each time an idol falls. Seek not outside yourself. And this is where and it's in that first paragraph where it says, do you prefer that you be right or happy? Okay. Lindy, we're 2 minutes. Go.
Just a question right quick. Something happened to me. Okay. Um, a thought comes to my mind every now and then that seems very tragic to me. And it caused me not to trust nobody. Oh, well, we ain't got no bodies, no way. So, okay. But the question is, when this thought comes, like, because I hear you talk about reoccurring, repeating, calling it back or whatever. Is that a lack of forgiveness? Like, that's the question. I hope I made myself clear.
Oh, very clear, very clear.
Okay,
A,
okay.
A, you're recalling something that came and went, and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
make it real now. And
Mm.
you thought that whatever that was that occurred should have been different. That shouldn't have happened. He shouldn't have acted that way, or she shouldn't have acted that way. That should not have happened. We're shooting on it. And when you're shooting on it, that means you're not giving yourself an opportunity to see it as it is. You want to see it the way you think it should have been, and causing yourself pain with it, because the situation is not hurting you anymore. What's hurting you are your thoughts. It's always your thoughts. It's only your thoughts. It's only your thoughts. So you can use my famous 5 words: stop, 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 stop. When the pain comes, because you'll know what you're thinking by how you're feeling. If you're feeling the pain, you're thinking the painful thoughts. If you are never upset. The course reminds us we are never upset for the reason we think. We're upset because we see something that's not there. What you're seeing is something that was, that no longer is, and you're trying to make that real now, and you're causing yourself pain with it. You want to blame that over there for what's happening right here. I can't trust you because of what somebody else did. Oh, and the only person hurting is you. You're denying yourself the love that could be coming your way. The extension of love that could be coming your way. You're denying yourself that by thinking that something back there is the cause of what's happening here. The cause of what's happening here, as we just read, is your thoughts. It's only and always your thoughts. And once you're and as you practice, and it takes practice. Oh my God, it takes practice. As you practice and practice and you keep getting the situation, it keeps coming back to give you more practice. As you keep getting that and practice, stop. Wait. The truth is, I'm not a victim here. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I can see this differently. Above all else, I want to see this differently. And when you mean it, when you say you want the peace of God, when you really mean that you want the peace of God, when you really mean that you want to be free of that, you will be free. Not, oh, well, that's fine when we're in the room. Oh, that's fine when we're in the Course in Miracles study group. Oh, that's fine while oh, well, no, but in real life, no, we're talking about real life. The truth is that none of that, it's not there. It's not here. It's gone. It's already gone. It's already gone. So you're denying yourself, and you asked the right question. The answer to the question is right there in your question. It's right there. And with that, I am going to give up the mic. Thank you, family. Lindy, we can talk more about that if you want. You can stay right here and talk with the group. Because anyway, thank you, family. Thank you for letting me be here. And I'm off to the
Thank
next
you,
adventure.
Zulma. Thank
Love,
you.
Thank
love
you,
you, fam.
Zulma. Have a great day at work. I know your patient is going to really appreciate your loving energy when you come in to visit them.